Hello and welcome to Around the Hoop, the Westwood Basketball Show. I'm your host, Mike Gay. We've got some big news here in Westwood. We have secured two sponsors. So I want to first and foremost thank Vanderbilt Club and Sue Young, as well as Norwood Physical Therapy and Mike Kane. They are going to be the sponsors for all things Westwood basketball this season. So that means Around the Hoop programs, as well as all of the taped high school games. So again, thank you to our new sponsors. Joining me, as in every week, Coach Clifford and Coach St. Martin.
Good to see you, Mike.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So you've had a pretty frantic couple of weeks. Coach St. Martin, why don't you walk us through the last couple?
First of all, we had the first ever snow cancellation of tryouts, which never happened before in the years I've been coaching at Westwood and before. So that kind of threw a monkey wrench into things, but tryouts were, as we said before, it's a difficult thing because you're telling kids at that moment that they're not good enough to make a team. So varsity team tryouts were finished. We had two really tough go at it, and then our first team meeting and first practice was on Thursday, and then we went another practice Friday, Saturday, scrimmage BC High on Sunday, which was really good. You guys are very competitive. I mean, BC High not only is they're a very big and athletic team, but they're very disciplined. I mean, their coach has been coaching a long time, and very well coached team. So it was tremendous for us to go and compete against them, and the guys did really well. I think we learned a lot about ourselves in the sense that not only is it an effort situation, it's a communication and accountability situation that players have to hold each other accountable for things, and it just can't just be the coaches. And the guys have done a really good job adjusting to that for the last week of practice. Our first game got canceled because of the snow situation. The coach reached out to me and asked if we could move the game, which we accommodated them by doing so. So we're actually not playing tonight, the varsity, the freshmen and JV are, but the varsity has a scrimmage against Mansfield, which is another Division I powerhouse who won a state championship 2 years ago. So it's going to be a real great challenge for us again going forward to prepare us for Tuesday's game.
So quick question on the tryout. So again, the first ever cancellation of a tryout night threw things for a loop. I know we were watching the AccuWeather forecast going, oh, please no. With that said, any surprises as far as intensity levels, maybe some underclassmen that were brought up?
Yeah.
How does the dynamics of the team look?
It looks good. I mean, what was interesting was usually the second day is better than the first day as far as tryouts go, because the kids kind of know now what's expected from that first day. So if there's any questions about one of the drills or activity or the scrimmaging or what we're looking for, they get a feel for that. So the second day goes a lot better. And also for kids, they know how they tried out themselves, so they can figure out, I really got to fix this or work on this or up this. And then what we do is we bring in all of the players and individually face-to-face tell them if they make the team or not, and if they're an underclassman, they have a chance to try out for JV. Most of the time, the questions that are asked are what are the things that you're looking at in this tryout, or I can do better and stuff, which are great questions that kids ask, and we give them usually a list of things offensively and defensively per kid, so it's not always the same per kid, and that's why you want to do it face-to-face. So for varsity, it turned out really well. We have 7 seniors, and then we have some underclassmen, including sophomores. We actually have some injuries on the team and had to call up a JV player already really early in the season. Similar to last year, we called up a couple because of injuries. So we're at 14 now, and one of them, the person who got called up from the freshman team, from the JV team, is a freshman. So brand new to the whole system. It was funny. I asked him yesterday. I'm like, how is the practice? He's like, well, it's really intense and a lot faster. And I said, well, that's the varsity level. It's going to be, a different environment for you as far as those things. But the kids have been fantastic catching them up to speed. So that's been awesome.
That's great. Coach Clifford, how have the last couple of weeks been for you?
Yeah, I think just as hectic. The snow day was tough. I know we're definitely appreciative of the Westwood custodial staff and grounds crew.
Absolutely.
The snow started Monday night, and we were able to get all our tryouts in on Monday, which some towns couldn't. So
Correct.
we could have been down 2 days. We're only down 1, so that was a huge help. So just really, really great of Matt Gillis and administration just to let us get in there. They know
Right.
the importance of that and the value. So we had Tuesday off, so we finished picking the varsity team on Wednesday, and the freshman and JV teams on Thursday. So it was quick. We've had 2 scrimmages. The varsity team, we went down to Duxbury, as we do every year, to see Duxbury and Falmouth. It went well. We had 2 practices under our belt as a team. We're pretty raw. I think there's a lot of people that are either adjusting to a new level, adjusting to a big increase in their role at the same level. So there's a lot of moving parts going on, but the girls are doing a good job. So we came out of that scrimmage, identified some things that we had some holes in or needed to work on. We're able to get back to practice on Monday and try to address some of those things. And then we hosted Walpole in a scrimmage on Tuesday, who are they're always fast, aggressive. They have some phenomenal guards. They're pretty deep and well coached, and they just play really hard. So that was a good test for us. And I thought we performed pretty well. We were able to improve on some things from Sunday, identify some new things that we've been working on since, and that's sort of the name of the game. So that's been pretty good so far. Practices this week have been great after the scrimmage, and we're heading to Bellingham tonight for our season opener. So we're again feeling hectic, but also just as excited to get out there and see what it's like for real.
Yeah, that's great. So a week and effectively a couple of days of practices. First game of the year. You have another scrimmage tonight. You haven't necessarily set all your offensive schemes,
Right.
Defensive schemes, your press
Correct.
break, your press. So how do you work with your team to be as prepared as you can be with such little time?
So I think it's we talk a lot about it's important what you do, what you run, all of that, but it's more about how you do it, how you play, and so we kind of focus on that. We are on paper, we are nowhere near ready for a game in terms of all the things you just listed and having everything in. But we feel good about the spots that we picked and the things we focused on, and we spent a lot of time just getting the girls used to playing with each other, playing at a fast pace, things like that. So I think if you can go in and do that and play hard, focus on your strengths, and then we can it's kind of the coaching staff's job to make adjustments as we go. If they play a zone we haven't really talked about yet, that's what timeouts are for, and you hope they can adjust on the fly, and we've seen that a little bit in the scrimmages out of them. So it'll be a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling just in terms of lack of preparation, only in the sense of time. The girls have been working really hard, but it's been tough, but you just kind of prioritize things, see what's best for your team, and go from there. So we'll see how it goes tonight.
And the other piece too is you kind of do a little conceptual teaching. So every zones have principles, right? So if it's a 2-3, 3-2, there's a principle to it, but your offense has a principle to that as well. So how do you attack the gap if it's a 2-person front or a 1-person front, and it's the same with a press breaker against a zone. So you kind of teach the concept of what you're doing, and then you can apply that to various settings. That's the best way to prepare them in such a short time, unfortunately. And then as the season goes on, you just make adjustments and add stuff in. But nobody's fully prepared right now, and it's the teams that have either been doing it for a while and have a veteran group of folks that can implement the stuff that you normally have done, or it's a brand new coach who just started and has something that nobody has been able to chance to scout, and so like Coach said, you have to call a timeout and make an adjustment if that's needed. But no one has anything 100% in.
It's funny, we've talked about this numerous times, but that's when if you teach those principles at the younger grades
Correct.
in the WBA,
Correct.
And even something as simple as your terminology, what
Yep.
we're calling certain things,
Yep.
makes it so much easier those first 5-6 days before your first game. The freshman that you brought up,
Yep.
it's going to be a fast game.
Correct.
So that makes a lot of sense. Coach Cliff, quick question for you. What's the breakup of your team, seniors versus underclassmen?
Yep, so we have 3 seniors this year that are all captains. There are 5 juniors on our roster, including Elizabeth Gill, who was on last week and can't play for the season. So we have 4 active juniors. And then we have 2 sophomores and 2 freshmen. Overall, we have 5 people that are brand new to varsity, so the learning curve is big, but I think our older, more veteran kids have done a great job catching them up. So it's been good. It's a pretty good balance. Our seniors are Sarah Roycroft, Olivia Holbrook, and Taylor Kane. They're back they're each back for their third year, so they know the ropes and have been around for a while. Juniors, Hattie Noble, Caitlin Fleming, and Julia Dolly were with us last year, so they kind of have stepped into that veteran role after just a season. Chloe Callahan joins them as a junior after a couple good years on JV, and is a great example of just developing your game and developing confidence now, and she's made the jump really nicely. Haley Jacobson and Katie Kissler are sophomore guards who we're going to need to play and make an impact right away. So they're going to be fast-tracked on that learning curve for sure. And then we took 2 freshmen who have done a really nice job, Olivia Williams and Ariana Katzman, who had a great tryout and show that they have the talent to stay at that level. They have the basketball IQ to kind of keep up with the pace and things like that. And with the younger kids, you see the moments where they're in control and the moments where the game seems a little fast, and it's just talking it through with them, and you can hopefully see those moments decrease over time. But I've been really pleased with how people are adjusting. We got to get into gameplay and see how we start doing against competition, but we're really happy with the leadership of the veteran players to the new people new to varsity, and we think that'll translate tonight.
So on the road tonight, talk about the week ahead. We'll be doing these shows every Friday, God willing. And so what do you have not only tonight, but then also next week?
Yeah, so we start with Bellingham. Coach said his game was moved till a little bit later, but we're right into our league schedule. So Bellingham's tonight. On Tuesday, the girls will travel to Ashland. The boys are home.
We're home.
On Tuesday night. And then on Friday, the girls are home against Medfield, and the boys will travel to Medfield. So I know on our side, I can speak to, we're jumping right in. Ashland is always well coached and plays really hard. Medfield is going to be strong again. It's just sort of a perennial thing that they do over there. But they run a great program over there, so we're going to be tested right away, which is exciting. We'll know before the holiday vacation and get to learn a lot about ourselves and figure out where we're headed.
That's great. Coach, again, you just mentioned your schedule, but anything, any goals as tonight's scrimmage or even into next week?
The big piece is to make sure we're still competitive, playing against such a high level. And a team like Mansfield, which makes them so special, is not only do they play very hard, but they're super disciplined in their system. So if you make mistakes, they will capitalize on it, not only because they're playing hard, but they're very talented and disciplined. You put those things together, I mean, that's why they've been a state champion and are in the mix.
It seems like they're in the finals every year.
Every single year, they're living at the Garden. So, but he does a great job with that program, and it's a great test for us. And I like scrimmaging teams that we wouldn't play them in the regular season per se, but also because they're a division up and it's a big challenge and it's forcing you to play really well. If you can do that with the scrimmages, then when you're in your league that may not have as much talent and as disciplined or whatever, it should prepare you well for that. That's the mindset. It should do that. It doesn't always work out, but it should.
And I know it's a little bit ahead, but for people planning their holiday week,
Right.
Talk about the holiday tournament.
Yeah, so the boys have a holiday tournament we've done for a few years now. It's this year it has Needham and Foxborough on one side, and then we open up with Hingham. So you're talking about 2 Division II teams in Hingham and Foxborough that are always in the tournament and make tremendous runs. I mean, Hingham lost 2 years in a row to Tech Boston and gave them both great games, where in the second half Tech Boston pulled away and won the state championship. And then Needham's a Division I powerhouse. They've been great out of the Bay State Conference, so they'll be great. And then and Foxborough is always in the tournament as well and has made some tremendous runs. And he does a fantastic job with them, one of the best coached teams in the state. So with all those great coaches and great players and great teams, it's going to make a really good tournament for us.
And I know we've talked about the desire to get a sponsor for the holiday tournament.
Right.
So if any of the Westwood businesses or local businesses are interested in becoming the main sponsor of that holiday tournament,
that'd be great.
There'd be naming rights, a lot of press. It would be really great.
That'd be good.
So reach out to Coach St. Martin or myself. We can make that happen. Coach Clifford, while you're not hosting a tournament, what do the girls have planned over the holiday break?
Yeah, we have a couple non-league games. So we've set up 2 dual county league opponents, Lincoln Sudbury and Wayland. We've played for the last couple years. It's our turn to travel to both of those places. So on Saturday the 28th, we're up at Lincoln Sudbury, and then actually on New Year's Eve day, we're playing at Wayland, like a 12:30 game. So that'll be fun, a little matinee on New Year's Eve. So we're looking forward to those 2. We're going to obviously take it one game at a time and not think about those quite yet, but that's half our non-league schedule. So we'll get those in over break.
Oh, that's great. Last bit of Westwood basketball news is that the Metro West season kicked off with games last Sunday, and we've got In Town starting this week, as well as the second week of Metro West. Any advice for the young hoopsters out there?
My advice is always to just make sure you're doing what you can to get better. Use your time to get better. Work on being able to pass, dribble, and make layups with both hands. That would be my advice.
Coach Clifford?
Yeah, I'd echo that. I think also just make sure you're having fun. I mean,
Yep.
I still remember my travel basketball days, and it's good. You get in the gym, 2 nights a week at practice. Make sure you take advantage and listen to your coaches and all that, and have fun with your teammates because it's a fun level.
Yeah, we're going to try again this year to get some of the Metro West teams, as well as maybe some of the younger in-town, second and third graders, to come and play at halftime of
Which
your
would be
games,
great.
Absolutely.
which
Which would be
is
great.
a lot of fun.
It's always fun.
So again, it's here. It seems like we just blinked, and
Yeah.
tryouts were getting ready to kick
Right.
off. So good luck tonight in your first
Thank
game.
you.
Thank you.
Your scrimmage against Mansfield.
Appreciate it.
Friday the 13th. Hopefully everything goes well.
What could go wrong?
Yeah, well, nothing could go wrong. So again, thank you so much, and again, thank you to our sponsors. Really exciting to have them on board.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So again, want to thank Coach Clifford and St. Martin for joining us on Around the Hoop, the Westwood basketball program. Super excited to have sponsors in the Vanderbilt Club and Norwood Physical Therapy. We're going to hope to get both Sue Young and Mike Kane into the studio to introduce you to their respective companies and how they're tied to the Westwood basketball program. I think you'll enjoy that. Again, the girls are traveling tonight. Their first away game, league game down to Bellingham. The boys will host Mansfield in a preseason, or I should say a season kickoff scrimmage. So that'll be a lot of fun over at Bader Gymnasium in Westwood. And then next week, again, the boys are home on Tuesday. The girls travel, and then next Friday, the girls will be home against Medfield, and the boys travel down Route 109. So again, for all of the Westwood Media Center staff, Erica Adams does a phenomenal job in her first season here with Around the Hoop. Melinda Garfield, Connor Lynch, and the rest of the staff here at Westwood Media Center. Again, thank you. If you haven't been down to 15 Purwall Street, you're missing out. Try to come during regular business hours. They will be taking the week between Christmas and New Year's off, so plan accordingly. Until next week, I'm Mike Gay signing off from Westwood Media Center.